All right, and we gotta set the clock. 20 minutes. Countdown has begun.
Okay.
Are you ready? We gotta crack one of those open.
Okay.
It's wow, that is a skill.
That's a married skill.
One of the benefits of marriage, right?
The benefit of the
benefit.
ring.
Yeah, I hate the ring. Well,
Morning
Morning
beers.
beers. Welcome to Morning Beers, guys.
Yeah, we're drinking Torpedo
yeah.
Extra IPA right now.
Because I remember last week Sean said he didn't like, or last time, it wasn't last week, it was a month ago.
Ago
You
now,
said you
yeah.
didn't like IPAs, and I was like,
Extra IPA.
yeah, well, that was because you brought that with that Scotch ale or whatever
Yeah.
that was. Oh.
I like that stuff.
Cheers.
Yes.
So today is our Election Day series.
Pennsylvania, yeah.
Pennsylvania Election Day. It's an election. It's Election Day in Jersey too, isn't it?
I think so.
I think it's Election Day in most of the country because this is
Yeah.
the midterm elections.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember when nobody gave a shit about midterm elections?
Nobody, for the longest time, I would say maybe like even 10 years ago, I didn't know that there was one.
I think up to 2 years ago, nobody gave a shit about midterm elections. It's funny. There's so much polarization and bullshit going on. Go out and vote for my guy. Get out and vote for my guy.
It's very disheartening to go online anymore, and like that's why like today I was on Facebook like this morning, and I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait till it's all cooled down,
Yeah.
and then I'll go back on check it out.
Well,
but like
do you think people will be sad tomorrow? Well, somebody's always sad.
There's always a sad voice to be heard.
But there'll only be that outrage if it's one certain group of people, because the other group of people tends to be like, we lost, it sucks, things are gonna be harder, but we're not gonna go outside and like burn something down.
Yeah, it's been absolutely crazy. Just like lately, just reading some of the posts people do, and like the one thing that really gets me, and I think we can all agree on this one, is that there are the people who want to preach love and acceptance. It's like
Unless you don't agree.
Yeah, you don't agree with me? Well, to hell with you. Like, your opinion doesn't mean anything to me. Like, you're a terrible person. It's like, when like you preach all this love and acceptance and you want to like everybody to be happy, well, what about the people who don't agree with you? Do you want them to be happy? Apparently not.
Well, you know what's funny? I get a lot of shit from both sides of this stick because I don't agree with either party.
Sure.
I don't vote party ever. I fucking hate the Democrats and I hate that whole liberal bullshit. I fucking hate the Republicans, and I hate that whole conservative bullshit.
Well, I feel like the liberal has gone way too far.
So it's the conservative side.
There are extremes to either side of it. That's why we like whenever we see the posts and we see the opinions that are all just so to the extremes. Yeah. The people who are in the middle don't fucking say shit because we don't say anything because. Like, our opinion doesn't really weigh in on either one of those extremes. Like, we're just kind of like, you kind of got a point, but these guys got a good point, too.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like, what?
Well, the problem is there's so much polarization. The whole deal with, like, you're hating somebody because of a party they affiliate with. Mm-hmm. Isn't that kind of... There's something wrong with that. There's almost like a... There's such a polarization today that it's like... I can't talk to you because you don't agree with my opinions.
Well, that goes to debating. The debates anymore, it's always, do you agree, yes or no? It's never, because there is no yes or no question in politics. It's a gray area. Everything's gray of like,
there's no dialogue. There's no opportunity to talk to somebody anymore and have a dialogue with them about something.
They just want to hear you say yes or no.
Yeah, they just want you to repeat verbatim what they believe. And even if it's like, you're just repeating party rhetoric. I mean, you want to talk about, like, Nazism. I mean, right now, with the extremism of these parties is, like, insane.
Fascist.
And, like, it's not even the parties. It's these people that follow the parties, like the Antifa. Like, people who believe Antifa is a good thing, you guys are nuts. People who think that those what was the Proud Boys or whatever, those guys are nuts. It's like, it's insane. And there's also a disconnect, too. It's like, the Democratic Party. Like, I love when my liberal, like, I'm going to call them liberal friends. I'm not a Republican. I'm not even a libertarian. I pretty much don't believe in anything. I want to burn it all down and start again. But, they are so disconnected from the fact that their party organized and developed the Ku Klux Klan.
Right.
You can't separate that. We can't go into history and say, you know what, let's tear statues down because those guys were, they were on the Confederate, and then go, hey, you know what, the Democrats have changed. They're not racist anymore. They're not in the Ku Klux Klan. You can't have it both ways. If you're going to rip down the history, you got to rip it all down. You got to burn that party. That party needs to stop.
Well, I think what you're bringing up is there's tearing down the statues in South Carolina with like was it General Lee and stuff like that.
And other generals. They want to rip down the statue of what's his face in Philly. The mayor.
Really?
Mayor. Yeah. They want to rip that down.
Well, you know, the real problem with all of it is that you can't pick and choose like parts of history you want to remember. Like there are good and there's bad, no matter what part of the world you look into. And like most cultures accept the good with the bad of what their history is. You know, like I would never recommend talking to someone in Germany about like the Holocaust, you know, or anything like that. Well, but like these are things that have happened in the world.
Well, you can't get rid of Auschwitz. That needs to stay there so you fucking remember that it's horrible and you don't fucking do it again. Yeah. That's why it's there.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Just for the fact that it needs to be like memorialized in that sense, where it's like it's a sad way to kind of look back on the history, but you are remembering.
Yeah, well, you have to. You have to. If you forget your past, you are damned to repeat it. That's just the way it is. And we're kind of seeing that. Like right now, the way things are going, I'm seeing brown shirts everywhere, man. I feel like it's like the 1930s, 1940s all over again, Nazi Germany, with the way these people are going out and burning shit and ripping stuff down and trying to destroy history. Mm-hmm. It's even they do that in the Muslim world, where they destroy parts of antiquity that don't agree with their philosophies now. You can't make the past fit the present. It just doesn't. And you also can't look at things and go, you know what? You know, it's like saying you have to accept the bad with the good, or you have to turn it over and start a new leaf and keep that as it's a scar. It's a scar that has to remain. You look at that scar and you remember what happened. Sure. But to completely, utterly go on and berate somebody on social media, I thought it was a no bullying thing, and it's like bullying.
You know, I feel like
own your history.
The no bullying thing applies to others, not to yourself. Apparently, that's just the way it works with lots of people. Correct. Lots of people, and like it's. I feel like a lot of people sit online and like they'll have drink in hand and they just look to troll something. They look to get into it, you know.
Yeah, I know, and that's it's disturbing. It's a little upsetting.
Well, that's where social media is failing. Social media isn't working on bringing everybody together. It's really causing this big problem.
It's a rift.
It's a rift right now. Exactly.
Yeah.
People are falling apart because of social media.
And people are like, "Yeah, I want to thin out my friends anyway." It's like, really? You know, there was. I don't think people ever agreed on philosophy. It's okay to disagree.
Sure.
That's how we come up with new ideas. You have to agree to disagree.
And it also makes you have more of an identity. Like you can kind of really identify with what you believe in versus like just following the pack. Like if I believed everything Steve believed in and like back and forth, I don't know. Like it just doesn't work that way.
It'd be like George Orwell. It'd be like 1984.
Yeah.
I mean, just believe what the party says. If the party says this,
brainwashed.
That's kind of what's happening. It's like even like in our local elections, like Susan Wild. I mean, she worked for a mayor who pretty much bankrupted Allentown, is going to jail for 9 years or 10 years or 30 years or whatever, and people are still going out and voting for her. Like it's like, oh well, she had nothing to do with it. She said she had nothing to do with it. I believe her.
Yeah, of course she's going to say she had nothing to do with it because that was a huge...
John Gotti said he had nothing to do with it. El Chapo said he had nothing to do with it.
Sure.
Not me.
I didn't do it.
Yeah. Gotta be confused. I don't know. Again, this is the political edition. That's why we're kind of
it's very political.
So, I don't know if you could tell. I don't know. I don't think we fall on any side.
Really, we don't. Really, because like, I think we've had these conversations off camera so many times about like politics. And the thing is, I'm not mad at Steve about it. We don't care. We don't care.
What's there to be mad at? I don't like anybody.
And it's like, and like the funny thing is, I have so many friends that are like such liberals, and like they are constantly saying like almost to the point where I would say extreme, to where like it's like if you are any way, shape, or form supporting the Republicans or Trump. Oh, like you might as well just like delete yourself and like the whole thing. Just like get offline because like they're not gonna let you go. Like and the funny thing is like it's not that I support or don't support. There are good and there's bad to every single politician. And I pointed out. I remember this was a post I did a while back where I pointed out a couple of good points that were brought up in the UN address. Yeah. Trump addressed the UN.
Well, they didn't broadcast any of that though. Like
no,
that was like real. That was like.
There was a 10-minute video of his address, really, that was kind of like, that was brought up and whatnot, and there was a couple of really good points brought up in there. So I was like, hey, let's talk about the facts, and yeah, that turned into this whole big thing, and like people that I viewed as like friends of mine were like literally like bullying, attacking me online. I was like, for what? For what did I do? You loved me yesterday, and now today apparently me sharing this made you feel that I'm a terrible human being.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like, what is creating this rift with people that's so insane that you can't even
sound bits from the '90s.
Well, it's
sound bits, man.
But it's like they're just drinking the Kool-Aid. I feel like I'm at the Jim Jones Massacre. We're just drinking the Kool-Aid, man. And it's like use your fucking brain. It's just like, I'm gonna shout my rhetoric at you, and if you don't believe it, I'm gonna keep shouting at you till I knock you down. Yeah. And it's like,
and that's what both sides of the political stance do this
tons of
all the time.
I mean, the reality is that we do need to be a sovereign country. I mean, a wall. Who knows? I mean, Trump is an asshole. Yes. He's always been an asshole. We all knew that he was an asshole. But the president
won because he was an asshole.
But the president doesn't need to be a good guy. The president doesn't need to be your buddy. It's not a TV show, even though this asshole came from a TV show. But the reality is that he doesn't need to be a good guy. I mean, we need to prosper, and we need to do well. If there's a right person for the job, if I'm going to hire somebody, if I go out and hire somebody for a job, I need them to do the job. I don't need them to be the poster child for something. I need them to do the job.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
we had the cool president.
We did. We didn't get much done. We had a lot of problems. I know businesses suffered.
Well, there was a lot of, because of diplomacy and like a lot of just back and forth, and there was just endless cycles of nothing getting through.
I really liked him. I really liked him. I thought as a person, I thought he was a great president. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that in the beginning, remember with the beer, the Joe the Plumber thing, got the guys together for a beer. I was like, oh, this guy's great. I love this guy. I didn't vote for him. Actually, I didn't vote for anybody. But no, I actually voted for Nader.
You threw your vote away.
Oh, I love that one. My pie in the sky votes. That's always a thing, too. Somebody told me that the other day. It was my pie in the sky vote. If we keep voting, I mean, this is funny because I had this conversation with somebody. I said, we expect something different every time that we vote for the same fucking people over and over again. Isn't that insanity? I mean, that is the definition
of insanity. Yeah.
I know I never heard, people say it all the time. But it is. We keep volleying back and forth between these two stupid parties. The parties are laughing because either way they're in control. Yeah, they're preventing that third voice, fourth voice, or some other voice from saying something. Mm-hmm. And we end up here we are. I mean, I voted for Johnson last time. I don't know about you. But I liked him. He was a sane voice. Mm-hmm. I mean, libertarianism in a whole maybe doesn't work in a nation, but just to have a third option other than Coke or Pepsi. Some people like RC Cola. Some people want something different. They don't want to be forced to drink Pepsi or Coke every fucking time.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And like most other cultures and countries have several parties. It's not just two parties.
I think Israel has like 11.
Crazy.
They have a lot of options.
I don't know how you keep track of what's what then at that point.
I think Italy has like 6 or 7 too.
Yeah.
You still have them. I mean, and they need to get equal time to be heard. I mean, our media is actually shutting down, and we talk about like the fake news. The fake news has been shutting down these third parties for years. So there's where the fake news is. I mean, I don't know, man.
There was a lot of it, even with on the Democrat side, with between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. There was a lot of like
that was bullshit too.
False reporting and this and that.
Yeah,
and they stacking the numbers. Yeah,
they shut him out.
Absolutely,
he should have been the candidate. And
I really feel that the Democratic Party. I felt that. They felt that afterwards. They were like, "Oh, we made a mistake."
They did because
they lost the young vote too.
They did, which is funny because the old man they lost the young vote from the old man. Mm-hmm. I mean, Bernie is old as hell. But Bernie's not a good president either. The man has barely had a job his entire life. He believes in socialism because he doesn't want to work for anything.
And there was all kinds of like misunderstandings with that too. Like if you really read into what he was talking about, like there was a socialist approach to capitalism. It was still capitalism with like elements of socialism being implied and like implemented.
They tried that. I mean, we do have social aspects in America, like our
social security.
Yeah, the welfare system. Yeah. We have socialized medicine. he always threw up like the Netherlands about that in different countries, and what they do is they have like a 2-tier system.
But those countries, like, in the only way we would ever be able to do something like that, we would be in an incredible amount of debt. And on top of that, like, because like they're all in debt, they're in crazy amount of debt.
Is a lot smaller too.
That as well, but we would need to throw away everything that we have about our current government, which just isn't going to happen. That's impossible.
It is. Well, you know what we could do is we could actually make medicine affordable by cutting out the HMOs.
Ooh, that's an idea.
And that's the thing. It's like I've known people who have worked for like Lehigh Valley Health Network and a couple of the other systems. Yeah. And what happens is the HMOs, and that was even the problem with Obamacare, was like they got behind the HMOs using them to actually create a healthcare that was affordable, but it really screwed business owners, and it screwed like a whole bunch of people that were trying to provide healthcare, and it forced everybody and people who couldn't afford it still had to pay and got fined. If we got rid of the HMOs, if we figured out a way to bring down the cost of medicine, getting heart surgery you shouldn't have to sell your house.
Right.
It's a job just like any. It's an important job, but it should be affordable.
That's pretty good.
It should be affordable, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It should be affordable. Medicine. A friend of mine is diabetic. The insulin was outrageous. Do you see they spiked the price of that? It's insane because the drug companies, the HMOs, are all out of hand. They're using our health as a product to make money. Mm-hmm. And if we could regulate that, I know that's not liberal, right? That's like way social. That's my left hand. That's my left side. Yeah. I volley between both.
But again, that's where we're coming from. There's parts of socialism that should be applied to what we're doing.
Exactly. It's like you have to have a conscience, but you also have to be fiscally responsible as well. And the problem is, like, socialism pure over here is like, oh, let's just take the money from them. Well, the money comes from somewhere, and eventually them is you. Mm-hmm. Eventually you're not gonna have anything, or you're not gonna have anything that you like. It's like, you have to find a place where things work. So you have to be morally in the socialist side, I believe. Like, morally, it's not, there's a whole group of people that are coming here, and it's like, oh, geez, why are, Mexico offered them asylum. They don't want Mexico. They're coming to America. Why aren't they walking straight through to Canada? Canada offers all these things too, socialized medicine. And, I don't know about you, but I've been thinking about that a lot. And at first I was like, you know what? They are fighting the police in Mexico. There's a lot of weird stuff happening. I'm not sure why it's happening. But somebody who's seeking asylum, and maybe there's some conflict in their country that might have been sparked by America, we do owe them, we are responsible for that. To
some degree, like, America has their hand in just about everything. So
I know that's not going to go over well with some people that may be watching us, but nobody really watches this. But, we should offer asylum to people who seek asylum. But we got to do it the right way. We have to vet them. We can't just open the doors and go, just pick a house. That doesn't fucking work. That doesn't work. We don't want to separate families, but the truth is that's even been narrated to a really funky point where a lot of those kids, before, when they were putting those kids in those like, they're calling them cages, but they were holding cells. They were quick-made holding cells. Yeah. Those were kids that were being trafficked by coyotes and other people, bringing them in for sex trafficking. Obama was stopping that. He was part of that.
Actually, that was one of the things where it immediately got shut down. Where it was like, I think it was on Twitter or something like that, where it was an article talking about how families were getting separated, and they showed a picture of kids in those cages, and that picture was from was it 2014 or something like that, and we look back and we're like, well, who was president during that time? What was going on? And then you find out more and more about what that picture actually was and what they were spinning it into being. Yeah. So again, like,
it's a narrative.
It's a narrative that the media is creating to get people to. It's clickbait. It's clickbait to kind of, and like that's essentially what the journalists are kind of going for anymore. Like, I don't know, journalists probably don't want to hear that, but the fact is that a lot of them, it's going for the number of clicks because some of them get paid per click.
It is. It's crazy. And I mean, the reality is that you're right. That happened during a Democratic president, but that was all about stopping human trafficking.
Yes.
And it got turned and twisted into something that it really wasn't.
That and then Trump was like tearing apart families or something like that.
And really, I would hope that any president, Republican, Democrat, or hopefully somebody else, some other party, would be able to stop human trafficking, because nobody wants that. That's not good for anybody. Yeah. And especially not for the children. I mean,
vote third party.
Yeah, vote for somebody else. That's my feeling. Get somebody else in there. But Looks like we're almost out of time.
We're almost out of time. I'm going to have one of these.
We barely talked about any music today.
We didn't talk about anything musical, which is kind of like refreshing, I guess, for this channel. But I'm going to have myself an American beer.
But I will say this, but with a couple seconds we have. So recently, if you go to the Phil Jones page, you can actually see that we're actually on there this time.
Yeah, we're real Phil Jones artists now.
I think I've always loved Phil Jones, but
I do. I use this stuff all the time.
And we're out of time.
We're out of time.
All right, guys.
Real quick, do you want to plug anything? Anything else?
No.
No. Okay. Well, then we're good.
Morning beers.
Morning beers. Have a good one, guys.